Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundCloud Studios, brought to you by our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon, paperback and ebook, coming soon, Missing 2, double expense, double the fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David Psalms, Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner, and check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries. Follow us on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and more, as well as LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram today. We're here with an amazing gentleman who's a multi-instrumentalist who formed the band back in the 90s and toured Chaka Khan, Bootsy Collins, George Clinton, and the like. He also toured with Snoop Dogg, Mint Condition, and The Time with 2 Live Crew, and has a new song that dropped on the 4th of July, available throughout the month as a soulful rally cry, a hard-grooving protest, and a heartfelt plea for unity in an age of deep division, which reflects frustration, reflection, ultimately love, and trying to maintain a goal. It's Only America. Live, ladies and gentlemen, Plus Dudes in beautiful downtown Corona, California. The amazing multi-instrumentalists who formed Slapbak back in the 90s, toured with Chaka Khan and more, with Funk Lives Matter, and featuring It's Only America, the multi-talented Jara Harris. Jara, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on board, Jara. So you're a multi-instrumentalist. You formed Slapbak back in the 90s. You toured Chaka Khan, Bootsy Collins, and George Clinton. You also worked with Snoop Dogg, Mint Condition, The Time, 2 Live Crew. You also have a new song which dropped on the 4th of July, which is available throughout the month for free as a soulful rally cry, a hard-grooving protest, and a heartfelt plea for unity in an age of deep division. There's frustration, reflection, but ultimately there's love. It's called Only in America, and plus you have a new release called Funk Lives Matter, available as an album. For getting all that, John, tell us how you first got started.
I'm sorry?
Tell us how you first got started.
I got started growing up in a family, a musical family. So I had 2 older brothers and an older sister. We were kind of like the Jacksons, you know.
Oh yeah, the mini version, yeah.
Yes. Right. The OC version. I was the youngest in the band. I was the 4-year-old drummer.
Nice.
So it was like a 10-year gap. So I mean, when I say older brothers, they're like 16, 15, 14, and then there was a 4-year-old drummer.
Oh wow, okay, that's a pretty good combination, I say. Hey, as long as you can play drums, you're great with it. So
yeah, I mean, you usually the young one is maybe up front singing and dancing, not really the not the heartbeat of the band behind the drums. So that's kind of odd, but
well,
yeah,
or unless you're Phil Collins willing to sing and play drums at the same time, or Don Henley and more. So
yes, those are exactly. You know, most of my favorite drummers actually ended up being singers, like Morris Day from The Time was the drummer. Larry Blackman from Cameo was the drummer. So, you know, it's kind of good to have that foundation as a drummer, I think.
Okay, that sounds interesting. And what was that one exact precise moment that simply influenced you into what you do in the rest of your career?
Well, you know, since we actually did a lot as a family band. We broke up when I was 7 years old. My brother went off to play with the family band, the Silvers, back in the late 70s. And, you know, it wasn't until I got exposed to Missing Persons, of all bands.
Oh, yeah, they're really good. I remember them.
That really got me interested into being a good drummer. You know, I played before, but I didn't have the inspiration. I was a kid. I wanted to ride my bike. You know, you're doing kid things. But I was 13 when I saw Missing Persons. MTV was just born, and it kind of changed my whole perception. It's the first time I actually felt like I wanted to do it.
Oh wow! Okay.
I would play the Missing Persons records every day when I got home from school, and I was very much on that Missing Persons Duran Duran tip until Purple Rain came out. Being a teenager, I was very influenced by that. Then I kind of headed more towards the funk side.
Oh yeah, I think that's where Morris Day and the Time really got featured after Purple Rain, based on Minneapolis. They were just a little known back then. I remember
Right.
watching that movie. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that really changed the game. I think any musician at that time, that was the movie that inspired them to, take it a little bit further than just like picking up an instrument and playing. You had to play, you had to sing, you had to dance. And so I kind of came up in that school of that was my mindset of what a band needed to be. But ironic, shortly after, like 5 years, 6 years after that, you have the whole grunge scene where it was almost a complete opposite. We had like Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains, and that was about not so much of the show aspect,
Hmm.
but that part was just enrooted in me as a teenager. That was always the bar for me. So ironically, fast forward to where we are now, it's kind of what makes the band special, that we
Hmm.
have that approach to entertain. Our whole motto is if there's no stage lights, it still has to be entertaining.
I think that's pretty interesting. I seem to think along those lines as like, of the eye candy, ear candy world, but the music isn't that great. That's all a
Right,
waste. And that's been my philosophy. It's like, be
right.
as plain as possible, but have the message out there. And I think that's really great with your latest song, It's Only America. We'll talk about that. And along with
Well, thank you.
you had some other releases like Ghetto Funkography, Return of the Fast Funkature, and you
Oh
also
yeah,
had some
yeah.
other singles. And another thing that popped up as well, you talked about Morris Day and the Time, and some others as well. Who are some other favorite drummers, and especially some other singers, artists, and other musicians growing up?
Well, it's funny. We grew up. I grew up in Mission Viejo, which is a total white neighborhood. We were one of three black families
Oh
growing up,
wow.
so my mix of music was very, very diverse. So I naturally have a mix of like funk and rock, and I grew up being inspired by David Bowie, B-52s, Rage Against the Machine, all that, Linkin Park. But I still had like the P-Funk side, the Zap, Cameo, Gap Band, Ohio Players, all that stuff.
Oh, I remember that. That was like in the early '80s. I think that was a huge influence of mine. My goodness.
Yes, yes. So all that I just kind of chew it up and swallow it together. It's kind of what Slapback is. It's very funk rooted, but it has all those colorations on top.
Hmm. And plus, one of the influences is George Clinton. And plus, you got to tour with him, and you also worked with him as well too. That has to be pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
that changed my life. Working in the studio with George Clinton and Bootsy, and also working with Larry Blackman. So two totally different approaches to producing, and I use them both. But
Okay.
George, I would say Slapback is a lot closer than anything to being like disciples of P Funk. Although we didn't grow up in Detroit, we're out here in Orange County, California. Uh, I was kind of took root with P Funk.
Hmm. Right. Yes. And I think that's a really great influence as well. We'll talk about some of the other singles like Hey Now, Get to Know Me, Can't Trust Your Honesty. And of course, It's Only America with Slapbacks, Jara Harris. We'll get that in 1 minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at soundcloudstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking a budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960 or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even level endorsed by Howard celebrities including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Furco's Missing by me, Molson Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double Expense, Double the Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings of King David's Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives a new perspective of David through the Psalms he wrote, and as the time of shepherd started, and complicate your turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries. Follow us on Facebook, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube. Also, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and more. And for great gift ideas like t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, got Amazon.com/me and Molson Zia. Great books, merchandise, and more. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with the amazing multi-instrumentalist who formed Slapbak back in the 90s, Jara Harris here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about your latest, It's Only America and also Funk Lives Matter, you also did some other music like Hey Now, Get to Know Me, Can't Trust Your Honesty, and tell us more about those.
Donovan Frankenreiter, who had the hit song Free, I think with Jack Johnson, totally different market than Slapbak. But I also, do some gigs hired as a musician, and I play drums for him. And we grew up together, actually. And I thought it would be fun to do a song with him as a special guest on there. And so that's him singing in the chorus. I have his right-hand man who plays harmonica and banjo. So we put that whole little mix of country, I call it hick funk.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Hick funk. Yeah. I like that. Just like my dog creator, Prairie Punk, hick funk. I think that's a really good one. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Hick funk. I love it.
It's kind of cool because it's kind of, what Slapbak is about. We cross so many different genres, and as you know, the band is all mixed, white, black, young, old. It's male, female, and all these things go really well together. And I think that's kind of really what I'm saying with It's Only America as well, is that we all work together so well, whether we know it or not. We're all able to work together, and I think Slapbak is a good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's a great artist, great guy to work with, good friend too.
Mm-hmm. And certainly this as well too. Plus, you had Hollywood's Not, and also Don't Block the Bus, and Future Void. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Future Void was actually written back in the late '90s. And we just recently brought it back because it was never released. We recorded it with this band, but even that, ironically enough, kind of appeals a little bit to what's happening today. And that was written, almost 30 years ago.
Written in the 90s and reflects today. It's like, did someone have like a crystal ball vision of what was going to happen today, or was like something else brewing in the 90s? Since you mentioned.
Yeah, I also do movie shorts. I have a movie that I did back in 2021, which is almost identical to what's happening right now. So a lot of times, if you just pay attention, you can kind of tell where things are headed and how things would pan out. So, I think we've been on this track for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you also. And I think I'm not sure if we cover like ghetto funkography and return of the fast funkature as well, and maybe some singles off of that. And also, besides talking about singles, what's your inspiration like behind the lyrics? It's like some of the things like Hollywood's Not, Hey Now, and all that. What inspired to write some of the music?
Hollywood's Not's interesting. When I wrote that with Gus, the guitar player, that's my daughter's husband, and he had the groove, and I went on this little 1 week getaway by myself that I like to do every once in a while, just get in my car and drive. The first place I went was Hollywood for some reason, and I was sitting in Mel's Diner, which is a famous diner on Sunset, and I'm looking at all the pictures from the '70s of like, the old directors on the cars, and I
Mm.
just wrote down Hollywood's not what it used to be.
Right. Yeah. And
And
I remember going to restaurants where it's like we went to a recent pizza place that had all the famous movie stars directing. And he goes,
right,
thanks for the great meal, and sign your name. And it's like you're not finding that anymore these days. It's
right,
sad.
right, right. And Hollywood has changed from the time that we first started going up to Hollywood, playing the Roxy and the Whiskey and the Viper Room back in the late '80s, early '90s. It's completely changed. And even the music industry is not what it used to be. Everything's changing. The movie industry's changed. So it's pretty much what that song is about,
Hmm.
It's just it's not what it used to be. I just thought Hollywood's not is a cooler name. That
Hmm. Right. And I think it's lost its luster as well too. Do you think COVID played in part of that, or is it mostly?
way.
Do you think COVID played part of it, where it's like Hollywood, kind of
But
really went downhill?
it definitely played a part as far as the activity, but I think the soul of Hollywood was already gone.
Hmm.
That started to change a little bit like in the '90s. And then, we used to have an industry where they see someone like Janis Joplin or Sly Stone and have vision for doing something different and creative. And I think in the late '90s, early 2000s, it was just about cookie cutter. If this works, let's just copy that, copy that. Let's not think about it. Just whatever works. And eventually it kind of hurt the industry, and then music became free, and music, you just kind of take it for granted. You have to be something really special for people to care.
Hmm.
You know,
I was
yeah,
just thinking about what you mentioned as well, that you had the creativity that like the '90s. You see these cookie cutters that make you think of Rick Astley back in the day. It's like he had that bum bum like that. It's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 songs, mix up different lyrics and bum bum. It's like
right,
that whole thing, and then he tried doing something creative. It's like his career went right
right.
down the tubes. And I've seen some people like that. It's like cookie cutter and all that, but it just made me think. What do you think really inspired the whole cookie cutter thing, or what was that moment you think that just throw creativity out the window and start the whole cookie cutter model? Like, what's the thinking behind that?
Well, I think once you have record execs that get in there that don't really come from the musical side, but they come more on the business side. They're just thinking about if something works, let's not recreate the wheel. Let's just find something else that works like that. Whereas in the earlier days, you had record execs that also got into the business side of it, but they also had the vision of like, we could do this with this band called the Beatles
Mm-hmm.
and create this campaign and starts, a new wave of excitement. Did it with Jimi Hendrix. They did it. I did it. They did it all through like the '70s and '80s because the new wave was a big change of sound. The guys wearing makeup. Oh, it's a different thing. But you have New Kids on the Block, which is like New Edition. Then you have uh, uh, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, 98 Degrees. All these boy bands were just like the same, regurgitated project.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Britney Spears. You want Christina Aguilera, and just the whole. It's like the model is the same,
Mm-hmm.
and so people kind of get bored, but they get used to it at the same time. And I think they've kind of trained the audience to want to hear the same thing because that's what they're used to hearing. Back when I
Mm-hmm.
was a kid, What a Fool Believes was a hit by the Doobie Brothers.
I remember that song. I
Oh
think that was Michael McDowell, and I'm trying to think if that
yeah,
was the
yeah,
first song. Tom Johnson was the singer. It was like the Doobie Brothers had a completely
right,
different aura
right,
about then. It's like they had a brighter sound, but to me, it's just like I liked both versions. I wasn't like split, I like the good or
Right.
bad and everything like that. It's like,
Oh yeah, they had Blackwater. But the thing about What a Fool Believes is I play that for people and I go, this was a hit back in 1977. I was
mhm.
7 years old and it was my favorite song. I don't know if a 7 year old can hear that song today because that song changes 6 times. It changes keys. It's such a musical piece. Today would be way too thought out, way too intricate for people to hear it as a hit song.
Right. Or be like,
But,
too complicated, beyond
right,
belief as well. And there was also something too that you talk about white, black, and everything like that.
right.
There's also a Native American band called Redbone that it has not been broken yet. 1974, Come Get Your Love. I was 10 years old back then.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna date myself as well too. The fact that we're singing a song, hey, 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 hey,
yeah,
what's the
yeah,
matter with your heads? Like we're singing on the playground that song, and we didn't know who Redbone was, and we found out they're a Native American group, and they're still
right.
the only one to this day that had a top 10 hit, which hit like number four at the peak, finished that year number seven.
Wow.
No Native American band has ever topped that. A singer or anything that's like that is just unbelievable.
That's insane. I just discovered like a year or two ago that that was a Native American band. I never knew that.
I didn't either. So it's like 10 years old. It's like, red bone? What's a red
Yeah.
bone? It's like they just like throw it out there. Is it because of
It makes
dogs or
sense
something
now.
like Clifford or what?
Redbone makes total sense now. Yeah, but it's true. Music just isn't really. And ironically enough, it seems like Gen Z is a little bit more hungry for uh, different music. So it's starting to seep in there. Pop is still pop, but it's a lot of stuff happening more on the alternative to the left side that's very innovative. So there's hope after all.
Mhm. So in other words, Gen Z is looking towards music created like the 60s, 70s, 80s, and all that
Yeah,
without that cookie cutter sound.
yeah,
And I hope it comes back as well too. Well, it's
yeah.
only in America, and yes, Funk Lives Matter. Get to more back with Slapbak's Jara Harris. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses Missing, the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including theories, quiz of pains, and King David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Summer Serena Wagner. Back with the multi talented Jara Harris of Slapbak after this timeout. We're back with the multi talented Jara Harris of Slapbak here on the Mike Wagner Show. And we cover a lot of the stuff like ghetto funkography, return of the Fast
That's your
Foundation,
fucking
Hey Now, everything like that, or Funketeers. Yeah. Oh, my producer's got bad handwriting. I apologize. So it's got that. So anyway, we'll get to your latest. It's Only America. It dropped on the 4th of July. It's a rallying cry, hard grooving protest. And what exactly was that moment that you wrote that song, It's Only America, and why?
Uh, back again. I wrote that back in 2020. Um, and it sat. Um, and the guitar player told me, like, it's a good time to bring that song. We should release that song. I kind of forgot about it, but I wrote it back. I think in a time where you're really starting to see the division of people were people were talking with the tone of like we're the greatest and kind of looked at it as like either you're for it and you're praising it or you're not for it. So like if you have anything bad to say or bad or something you feel like needs to be improved in the country, these people were kind of labeling you as like you're not being patriotic. But in reality, it's the things that we've tackled over the years that have made the country as good as it is. It's not that it's perfect. I don't know that it will ever be perfect, but we have to be open enough to say, yeah, there's some things here that we need to look at and maybe fix. But there was that tone was becoming very strong about we don't like it, then leave the country, all that kind of talk.
A lot
And
of frustration, reflection, and needs of love and everything like that. It seems like there's
right,
hardly any unity. And of course, people are right. United stand, we stand, divide, we fall. And it feels like we've fallen, have gotten so divided.
right, right. And that's the thing. It's like the weakest country is a divided one. That's when we're the most vulnerable for anything. The only thing that's intimidating to our own government or other countries is the fact that we're together and we're so split and divided. We're very weak right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a long journey of this because I wrote the song 5 years ago. And it's almost more relevant now than it was back then. But yeah, I really just felt like sometimes we get so caught up in what's taught to us, like it's taught to be concerned about this or to be concerned about that. But sometimes when we just take a breath and relax and think about what we're actually doing in life, a lot of it doesn't even touch us. And we're upset about stuff that we don't even know why we're upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that song is just basically reminding people like we're here. There's no change in that. And it's really not that hard to live together. Some stuff is our business, some stuff isn't our business. I get along great with my neighbors. I don't know what they do when their door's shut. I don't know
Right.
what they
It's
believe
almost
in.
like none of your concern. That's the thing. It's
Right,
like, we appreciate back in the day. Now with social media, it's almost like in the Big Brother thing, and they're forcing to say, hey, what's your neighbor doing? Rat on your neighbor if
right,
they're doing something wrong.
right,
I've been around neighbors that, that smoke pot and everything like that. It's like, hey, cool,
right,
how you doing? And there's like, a couple that are fighting. You could hear like through the walls and everything like that. It's
right,
like you don't
right,
knock on them and all that. It's just like you go about your business. I remember one time
right.
living Racine as a kid, and one of the best things I've done, you had Mark Lindsay playing Silverbird, just blasting through our paper thin walls. What was the
Yeah.
duplexes? I knock on the door. He goes, "Can you turn up louder? This is a great song," and they loved it. We never got mad. It's like, "Hey, can you turn it up? It's a great song."
Right. You know, exactly. And it's funny because, uh, my wife and I, when she was two weeks before we had her son, she's out to here and we have a fire and our place burns down in front of our eyes.
Mm.
We end up moving to Corona and never even thought about neighbors and who you might be moving next to. And right, and we're a mixed couple, and the guy to the right of us, it's like a white guy in his 80s, and even being black, you automatically think, oh, this guy might be racist because he's old school and this and that. Was the most helpful neighbor, open arms, kind of gave us a whole run around, really nice. And it's always such a really cool feeling when you realize that people are like that. And we judge people off of our appearance all the
Mm-hmm.
time. Our neighbors across the street are Cuban, and first thing you told me, we're like best friends now, but he told me after we got to know each other, it's like, yeah, when I first saw you moving in, I'm looking across the street like, who's this black guy moving in across the street? you know? And, and it's just funny because we all get along. We're all so different here. And we didn't all vote for the same person, but we get along because we respect each other. And I think that's what we're missing in this country is that there's some people that feel like they have the way and it's their way, that's the way it should be, and the rest of the country should follow it that way. I'm like, what?
That's not the case. It's almost like having their own world and saying, "Hey, you do as I tell you," and
Right,
that mentality. It's like it's getting to be like it's getting to be out of control. That's all I could say about it.
right, right. Yes, I agree with you there. So, anyways, that's what inspired that song, and I wanted to write a song that was more, wanted to write a song that's more uplifting and not targeting anybody or any party. It's just an uplifting. It's a universal song, just saying it's only America, just like any other country. It's a country. It's where we're born. This is where we live. Like Let's be good citizens and help each
Correct.
other.
Correct. And I think that's a really good point. And plus, you got the latest album out called Funk Lives Matter. And tell us more about that.
That's pretty much that's pretty much the record. You know, we work with Randy Jackson, who was a judge on American Idol for like 10 years. Randy and I know each other from 30 years ago when I was just getting started. Well, he saw a video of ours that kind of went viral, and he reached out to me, and we ended up reconnecting, and he ended up working with the band. So
Nice.
we went through like the first 8 months of trying to figure out what's the best approach for a Slapbak to have success. And I think Randy, knowing that we came from the 90s, his instinct was we should start with something fresh, change the name, you know, do something funky, but not too funk. And since you guys do the rock so well, do rock, but not too rock. You wanted something kind of in the middle, you know? So I was open to it. I was open to try it. We kicked it around for about 8 months, and we didn't really land. We didn't really land anywhere. And I decided, I decided after watching a Prince documentary of how Prince pretty much knew exactly what he wanted to do. I felt like our strongest direction was leaning into the audience that loves us, and that's the funk market. The funk market is always giving us support and love. So I told Randy, I go, I'm going to lean into the funk market, and we're going to do a funk record, unfiltered funk record, not a half funk record, but a full funk record. And we're going to call it Funk Lives Matter. And here's the artwork. And he looked at it and he goes, I like it.
And I've seen the album cover. Amazing.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to be a total pushback fight. But he looked at it, and I think he saw the whole vision together, and he's like, oh, I like it. So that's how it came about.
And we're certainly amazed and looking forward to having it out there and give it a listen to It's Only America, Funk Lives Matter, and more. Where can we find It's Only America, Funk Lives Matter, and all your works at, Jara?
Funk Lives Matter is available on all digital platforms. You can buy the actual vinyl from the slapbak.com. That's SLAPBAK.com. No C. Slapbak without the C. And you can get the vinyl from the website. But yeah, it's available everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music.
Okay, we'll certainly check that out as well. With the amazing Jara Harris of Slapbak here on the Mike Wagner Show, Funk Lives Matter, and It's Only America, and more, and also a few more things. What else can we expect in 2025 and beyond?
I'm sorry?
What else can we expect from you in 2025 and beyond?
We have maybe 2 more singles coming off of Funk Lives Matter. We're working on a tour. We do a Funk Lives Matter. We're doing a Funk Lives Matter concert series the last Saturday of every month at Mozambique and Laguna Beach. We have a special guest, Digital Underground, this last Saturday, July 26th. We'll have Macy Gray and Weapon of Choice as special guests the last Saturday of August. It's been a really cool thing. So have a lot of cool artists, nostalgia artists coming and being special guests for this Funk Lives Matter concert series that we're doing. So I think it's going to go past the summer. We're going to keep doing it the last Saturday if we're not on tour at Mozambique, Laguna Beach.
Okay, we're certainly looking forward to that. If anybody's out that way, make sure you check it out. And who do you consider biggest influence in the career?
My biggest influence, I might have to say Sly Stone or George Clinton and Bootsy. Prince is in there too. Prince is definitely in there.
Okay.
But again, like I said, it goes Talking Heads, David Bowie, B-52.
Oh, yeah. All that, yes.
all that stuff, you know.
write a whole list, which is amazing. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Man, it may sound cliche, but honestly, just never give up. I had stage 4 cancer. It's another reason why my speech isn't what it used to be. It's getting better, but I had these are from radiation. I was hit hard
Oh,
with radiation chemo, and it wasn't until maybe 6 months ago that my voice really started to come back. But that experience and having to push and having people being so supportive, it's just you realize that your time isn't done until you say it's done, or the powers that be say that it's done. But whenever there's a will, you just keep going. And you have to have thick skin for this industry because it is very up and down. It's a roller coaster, but I'm blessed to be doing it. I feel good to be doing it. And I still have lots more to come.
mhm. And we're certainly looking forward to more of you as well. With the amazing multi-talented Jara Harris of Slapbak here on the Mike Wagner Show. It's only America, Funk Lives, and more. Jara, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having you
Thank you
soon.
so much.
Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. And once again, what's your website?
Absolutely.
Oh, and by the way, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your music?
Yep. Like I said, the website is slapback.com. Slapback for that C. SLAPBAK.com. Instagram /slapback, Facebook /slapback, YouTube /slapback, TikTok. Yeah, I run all those platforms. So as long as you spell slapback without the C, you'll find us.
Otherwise, they'll slap you back. So make sure
Yeah,
you go to it. So, yes.
all right.
All
Exactly.
right,
I like
Jared.
that.
Yes, that's great. And we're certainly looking forward to it. And once again, Jar, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely
All
fantastic.
right,
Looking
thank
forward to
you.
having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to be back. We wish our best. And Jar, you definitely have a
All right.
great future ahead.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.